the Freedom March to reclaim the Republic by protesters, many of whom had been water cannoned and tear gassed just last month at the same place that was today the focus of India's celebration.
It's time, I think, because we are here to say that the Republic, it's we the people who are the final, the benchmark for the Republic, and the people all over India. And we have been called a mob, we have been called dented and painted, and we are here to say that, we are on Republic Day, we are here to say Republic is not just about being spectators, but it's also about being active participants and actively shaping this democracy.
A march through the heart of the capital to try and keep the focus back on the issue of stronger laws against rape crimes.
Over 200 participants marched from Mandi House to Jantar Mantar, demanding that the Justice Verma Committee's recommendations be implemented as soon as possible.
The first thing is that they should implement the Justice Verma Committee report, because they were telling us that unless the Justice Verma Committee report is out, they cannot do much.
We are here to assert the fact that public memory is not short, and we want this movement. It was born out of a moment, but that moment is gone. It's not the justice for just one victim, and we want it to be a broad-based movement.
It was called the Freedom from Fear March for victims known and unknown, a show of solidarity that many here intend to repeat in the run-up to the budget session of Parliament in order to keep the pressure on the government. In New Delhi with Siddharth Pandey, Ketki Angre for NDTV.
So what was this protest all about? Joining us, Kavita Krishnan, Secretary of the All India Progressive Women's Association, Akbar, the President of the All India Students Association, and Shivani, an activist with the association. Thank you all very much for joining us. Kavita, this was different in a small way from the protests that we've seen, following the horrific rape in Delhi last month. You're, in a sense, broadening your agenda.
Yes, I think that's been happening in the course of the movement also, right from day one, because it began with saying justice in this particular case, justice for rape in general. But I think almost immediately the agenda broadened, because people could see the connections between the freedoms denied to women in general and the crimes that are occurring against women. So girls started raising these slogans almost instantly about how their clothes are blamed and how there are double standards for women and all of that. So I think that in some way we've constantly tried to build on that and broaden the lens. And what I find to be great is that the slogan which was raised about we want freedom throughout, which women raised in so many myriad ways, we find that the Justice Verma report which has come out, which I think of as a product of the movement rather than a product of a government process. Okay?
Right.
Because in so many ways it actually reflects.
It wasn't a government process in that sense.
And
it was entirely more motivated by what thousands of people from around the world.
Yes, and it says very clearly what we have been saying on the streets, which is that it is women's autonomy that must be safeguarded. Yeah. It isn't that women need some kind of police escort all the time. Women need everybody, all institutions and society to recognize that their autonomy, their freedom is something we need to safeguard.
And Akbar, it's not just women. It goes beyond cutting across genders is what you're now trying to do in terms of ensuring that this message remains in the country, not just, through the media, otherwise as well, that violence doesn't necessarily have to be restricted to women. It's across genders.
That's true. If you remember the incident, then if any girl can associate herself to that girl who got gang raped, then any boy can associate themselves with that boy who was there, who was one of the sufferers. So we think that it's not just about girls, and if you see in due course of the movement, when we are giving the slogans, Mang rahi Adi Abadi Azadi Azadi, for half the earth and half the sky, we shall fight, we shall win. But in due course of the movement, it got changed to Mang rahi Puri Abadi. It means the entire population is asking. So that qualitative shift was there. So it is for, I don't think it's up to certain genders. It's like everybody can share the concerns. And we are very much disappointed by the kind of political articulations which came. And we really felt that it's really, we need to reclaim the republic in the terms like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, when he was on 26 January 1950, when he said that we are entering into a life of contradictions. Life of contradictions when in political sphere you have a space to say one man or one woman, one citizen got one vote. But in social and economic sphere, that is not the case. There is an inequality. So we need to reclaim that.
terms of reclaiming this freedom, the real fear is that in this country and in the media, which tends to forget a lot of this very, very fast, your movement will be forgotten. How will you ensure that the message that you seek to send out, which is a message that everybody agrees with, but nobody really would want to keep on driving at, how will you ensure that that message remains?
Today, you know, so many, I mean, it was more than 1,000 people who came out today, and that was a message in itself.
More than 1,000 people?
More than 1,000 people came out. On 16th of this month, there was a vigil which was held in Delhi University, a big convention. It's been more than a month now, and people are still coming out on the streets. And the message is very simple and clear. You know, we may not be at India Gate every day. We may not be at Jantar Mantar every day. But that does not mean we have forgotten, and we will not let you forget.
So many more protests like this?
Many more protests. We have 14th February coming up, when the Sangh Brigade gets all active and gets down to its normal business of moral policing. So, and
you're going to counter that?
Of course we have to. You know, I mean, when we are talking about Azadi, when we are talking about...
how do you counter that sort of violence?
See, this time February 14th is actually a date which is of international significance, because it's the 1 billion rising protests. Okay,
right.
So actually we plan to be part of that as well. But I also think we've been doing this every year in Delhi University for the last few years. You know, the freedom to love kind of programs, which have got a very good response from across the board from young students. But I think today what we were trying to say is something we will take forward, which is that we are saying that, you know, Republic Day is one day, but actually, you know, you build the Republic every day, and the public is the heart and soul of the Republic.
Right.
To say that there is some kind of you know, tantra that is against the Gana, you know, against the people, is something which we are against.
Okay, the public being at the heart of the Republic, obviously. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app. Fully optimized for retina display. Full screen view. Faster response time. And Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.